Right here. You're fast. Right here.
How much does this one hurt? I mean, they all hurt, but to come down and lose it that way.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. Just how the guys battled back, put themselves in that position. Again, too many others, whether it's missed tackles, penalties, a bunch of things that hurt us. We got a lot better in the second half, but put ourselves in a position to have a chance to win the game, and they made a couple more plays at the end than we did.
What did you do better in the second half?
Tackled, fit, played coverage better. Had a couple busts in the first half that we kind of knew what was coming and had a great call, and we need to figure out what happened there from a coverage standpoint on a couple of them. And then I think that they did a bunch of things differently in the first half that we kind of anticipated they would do something different against the young quarterback off of a bye week, and we talked about that. But they did a better job than us, to start the game on offense, but got it going from a complimentary standpoint there in the third quarter.
What was the message at halftime to the guys?
Again, kind of just do your job. We had again a coverage where they can't score on the route that they scored twice on, and just executing that penalties. The couple of times we were aligned incorrectly, just a bunch of those self-inflicted wounds, self-inflicted kind of things that got after us.
6 touchdowns.
What message do you give to your team now?
Love them. They competed their butts off, but at the same time, that makes it that much harder. That result and that near miss. But they competed their butts off a bunch of times over the last couple of weeks. Could have splintered, could have fallen apart, and they didn't.
What does this do for Herbert? I mean, he really had it coming out in the second half. He was down 20 points and came back and almost won the game. Helped almost win the game. What's it do for this kid?
Just a ton of support in the locker room. Already you can see guys just rally around him, and he's obviously very hard on himself just of how the end occurred. But we really should have never been in that situation. But I'd do the exact same thing at the end and trust him to make the play. Let's go do it again right now.
Clearly, he showed what you guys have seen, though. I mean, this is a kid
yeah.
who can throw the ball a little bit.
Coach, what did you make of Tony Brooks James's performance tonight? And was Royce a little off, or what was the situation with him? How was he?
I don't know. We've had some kind of availability issues for all of our tailbacks at various times over the last couple weeks, and Tony's been a stud, both on special teams and on offense, and just his effort is contagious, and his personality, just how he kind of goes about his business. But we need a little bit more balance and production out of all those guys.
I know you've seen him all fall camp and all this year, but does anything that Herbert is doing on the field right now surprise you or anyone else in the locker room?
No. I mean, I think that's, the players, if you ask them, he's been kind of doing that since day one, just of his competitiveness, how he goes kind of about his business very quietly. That's kind of just his deal.
The last play on the interception, is that a play that he usually does not miss single linebacker, so to speak, or big reason that play? Is that a strong play for him?
Well, it's kind of similar. It was a different formation, but similar to the touchdown there at the end of Charles. Very similar action, and yeah, he's again. So kind of what I meant. We'd run the same play and do it again tomorrow if we had it to do over again.
So in case you just didn't see the backer drop there.
Probably I didn't see the exact. There's kind of some things that go into that. The angle of the receiver relative to the depth of the safety, and I couldn't see if it was that angle, the height of all those things that go into it.
Mark, this is quickly becoming a season of attrition. Have you ever seen so many injuries in one single game, and how do you keep this group together?
Keep them together physically? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, well, and just mentally and physically.
Well, I think you saw that they're sticking together. There's no question about that. And we'll go back and see how many of those were major or significant. but it's been a rough year that way. But that is what it is.
After a comeback like that, what's the stronger emotion? Are you more heartened by the fight you guys had in the second half, or more gutted at the way it fell short?
Well, that's kind of what I told the team. Just I feel awful that we couldn't get it done for them, of how they've stuck together and weathered through a lot of, they've had a lot of opportunities to splinter and they haven't. And so, yeah, it's absolutely, weren't here for, some of the other things of just some of them missed assignments / things that we need to coach better, make it, they just, put that in bold print and highlight it that of how important those situations are.
Win or loss is the final thing that matters, but you feel like this team took a step forward and made progress from where they were?
Yeah, in some ways, yes. In some ways, there are individuals or positions where there's still a couple, why are we doing A, B, or C, which is natural, but just as far as how hard they played, competed, got behind and came back, you'll build off that. You have to.
Not sure if you've been asked this yet, but what do you think of Tony's efforts tonight?
Yeah, I was asked. Tony's been a stud all year long. Get the guy. He's just a Energizer Bunny type guy of how hard he works. He's always positive. He's banged up and kind of refuses to come out of his, whether it's his role as a tailback or as a specialist, and he's a fun guy to be around.
Do you expect maybe more reps for him the next couple weeks?
I don't know how many reps he had. I don't know. I have to go back and think about that, but he's a guy that's absolutely going to be involved, sure.
Anything else for Mark?
They went to the flat a lot, and they had a lot of success out in the flat. Was it your game plan going in that your corners were going to drop back and give them that much room on the outside?
It depends. I mean, there are times where you're in a single high 3 deep zone or different coverages from that. There were a couple times where we were in the correct position and got outflanked, whether it was by a block or whatever, and there were some times where we weren't in the correct position. So that, again, coach them up.